One last point that came up in my research and recently that we did not mention is that if you can figure out agentic improvements for one restaurant location, when you have a chain of say 100 to 200 to 300 locations, it compounds instantly. And that compounding nature really attracted me from a business perspective.
That's a great point.
This is AI First with Adam and Andy, the show for leaders turning AI from a tool they're testing into a workforce they run. I'm Andy Sack, alongside my co-host, Adam Brotman. Each episode, we bring you candid conversations with business leaders deploying real AI agents. What's actually working, what's not, and how they're rebuilding their companies around it. No fluff, just real talk, actionable use cases, and insights you can use. Greetings, Adam and our fellow listeners. Today, we have a mini episode for you, and we want to give you a little bit of a behind-the-scenes look at conversations that Adam and I are having about the strategy that we're pursuing at Forum 3. And in particular, we want to highlight our focus on restaurant chains and why we think restaurant chains are a great place for agentic workflows and the use of AI. So with that, Adam, let's give people a little bit of a behind the scenes look at our conversations. And we've always been focused on the use of AI predominantly in consumer businesses. But as we've worked across that spectrum, we've really come to, and some of this came from our book, Agents Inc., and the changing nature of competition. We've really come to really like the restaurant vertical. So do you want to let people in on why restaurants and restaurant chains, why we're so excited about that category?
Yeah, there are really two main reasons. One is that with all the stuff that's going to change because of AI and get disrupted because of AI, we're looking for industries to focus on where the actual primary experience and product wouldn't be disrupted by AI. And there's lots of them, by the way. But one of them we realized was like eating out, getting a latte from a coffee shop, getting a burger from a QSR place or something, or even from a casual dining place. So we were like, okay, that's not going to change. It can be enhanced by AI, but you're not going to eat AI. And so we like that part of the restaurant industry. And then we also like the fact that the restaurant business, particularly the chain restaurant business, just has all these frequency. It has a lot of frequency and it has a lot of data. So anywhere you have and I'm talking about structured data and unstructured data. You got customer reviews, you've got labor scheduling, you've got pricing optimization, marketing, and you've got all these transactions. So we like those two things about it. We like that it's going to be enhanced by AI as opposed to eaten up by AI, no pun intended. And it's going to be, and then we know where we'd apply, the benefits of AI helping you to do better analysis, making better decisions faster across all these different touch points that allow you to run your business better, which also allows you to have a better guest experience. And so we're like, wow, this is a great space. And we also happen to be knowledgeable about the space and have experience in the space. So I guess there's three reasons, to be honest, not just two. And so for those three reasons, we picked restaurant chains as an area of focus for us. And I couldn't be more excited, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, this came up really just to let people in a little bit more. This came up for sure in our recent book, Agents Inc., where we talk about really because of the agentic era, the changing nature of competition. In the book, we cover a chairman who had a 40-person company, and he realized that he could run the entire business with 10 people. And one of the things that he did was he pointed the agent at a competitor website and then told them to go do an analysis on the features in that website and any features and content that were missing to basically duplicate and replicate. And that is happening, every day all over the place. And so we believe that particularly in the digital domains, the nature of competition has completely, and modes, and you're seeing this in the stock market, has completely changed. One of our appeals of restaurant change is not only are people going to need to eat and drink, and that AI doesn't really affect that, either that behavior or that product, but around that, AI affects all of that. So you have frequency, you have data, which you mentioned, but really by narrowing our focus on restaurants, it allows us to really hone. And we think that by honing agents on the series of workflows in that space, we're going to be able to excel and really help restaurant chains make this transition to the agentic future. So I'm a noob to the space, but as I've been working on investor decks and internal documents with Adam, I've gotten really excited because I think that those aspects make restaurants a sort of quiet, it's not as crowded of a space, and it's defensible. And we actually believe, because of the physical nature, the data and the product, that we'll be able to have a defensible business at Form 3. That's what I think, at least. From my mouth to God's ears. Adam, you have anything you want to close with?
Yeah, I would just say, just to make the point even more crisp, so let's talk, just to compare it. Like yesterday, I had one of our agents, AI agents, doing a daily restaurant research report for me that I could send to our team that's super relevant to like what we just talked about. And I said, hey, I want you to like find news from the restaurant industry every day for me. And this agent I put together, it happened to be on Grokbot in this case, so I've been playing with Grokbot. But I was like, it put together like this nightly research report for me and like wrote to me an email every night from itself saying, okay, this is the roundup I did. And I sent it to some folks, and right away, some folks on our team, and one of them said, oh gosh, I know this company that's all they do is do a daily research report on the restaurant industry. They must be a little bit worried about AI disrupting their business. I'm like, yeah, like if you're in the business of doing something like that, like you're going to have to find a different business at some point, or you're going to use AI to be so much better at what you do that like maybe you're okay. But like I would be nervous being in a business where just a regular old normie could just push a button, talk to an AI agent, and have your product magically appear. And that's what we mean by like restaurants themselves are not going to be directly disrupted by the AI. They can be enhanced by it. And if you're not using AI, you can be disrupted. So I'm excited for our thesis of a focus on restaurants. And, it's fun to then sort of play with the AI and figure out how it's going to help all these restaurant chains that we're.
One last point that came up in my research and recently that we did not mention is that if you can figure out agentic improvements for one restaurant location, when you have a chain of say 100 to 200 to 300 locations, it compounds instantly. And that compounding nature really attracted me from a business perspective.
That's a great point.
With that, you'll hear more. I mean, we've already been talking about restaurants and restaurant chains, but we wanted to share with all of you our narrower focus and increased enthusiasm around the restaurant vertical and Forum 3 becoming an agentic player in that space and our rationale for that. So hopefully you got a little bit of info on that, some intel with that. Thank you all for listening. Adam, thanks for being my fellow chef in this journey. And for more info on how to become AI first, head to forum3.com. You'll find case studies, research briefings, executive summaries, and our book, Agents Inc., How to Rebuild Your Company in the AI Age. And Vera, our co-author, who's always up for a conversation. If you want to connect with other leaders doing this work, join the AI First community, our hub for turning AI hype into action. We truly believe you can't overinvest in your AI learning. Onward.